All right. Well, I sure want to welcome you for attending the 2015 Budget Open House presentation. I sure want to thank all of you for attending this presentation and meeting with the department heads. Before I get into the particulars of the budget, I sure want to thank our senior staff that really makes this city work. I am the mayor. I've been here for 12 years now, and I'm confident that we have the best senior staff that we've had, and that's 11 people who head up the various departments who are all here to answer questions from constituents, and it's been healthy to interact with each other. With that, I also want to thank our aldermen who have attended tonight. We have Alderman Joe Moore, who was here, Alderman Dave Nenning, Alderman Mark Stoyer, Alderman Randy Scannell, and Alderman Tom Sladek. These are aldermen who have taken time to attend and work with the department heads. They have been part of the budget process and in some respects along the way. If I could go to my PowerPoint now, I will kind of show you what we're doing this evening with the open house and where we're going forward. As you can see, on October 21st, I presented an overall budget to the City Council at our meeting on October 21st. This is the first time the budget has been put together, but I do want to tell you as a city staff, we've been working on this since February, and it's a budget now that has been presented to the Common Council. They then picked up their budget books. We obviously are having our open house here today. November 4th is an important meeting where the budget is discussed at the Joint Personnel and Finance Committee that is made up of City Council members. And on November 12th, the City Council and myself will approve the 2015 budget at that council meeting. So let's just look at a few things where we ended the year. 2014 was a very good year for the city. We're confident in where we're at and the direction we're going, but some of the highlights, we will end this year with a positive cash balance. And, we always have a balanced budget, but this year our revenues will exceed our expenses by about $500,000. Really due to the great management by city staff. The city of Green Bay, we live in a healthy community. As you know, the unemployment in our community dropped from 7.6% at this time in 2013 down to 5.9% as of September. So we feel good about that. Something I'm very proud of, and this is really led by our HR and our safety administration, is the workers' comp claims are down $300,000. That's a significant expense to the city, and they're down for a number of reasons. One is we've implemented a new safety training program, but I do want to tell you that the going to the automated garbage pickup has helped with the back pulls and other injuries that may happen with lifting a very heavy garbage can. The automated garbage pickup has really reduced our claims, and I think that's important to note, and I appreciate the aldermen who supported that. The city had a growth of $66 million. That is significant for a city our size. I'm going to show you later over the past 4 years how this is the most significant growth the city has experienced, and that's largely due to new development and some redevelopment. We'll continue our debt reduction, which reduces the general obligation debt. We refer to that as GO debt. That is debt paid by the taxpayers, by the residential taxpayers. We had a nice increase in permit fees because of the development. The city's crime rate, the Green Bay City's crime rate is down 16% year to date due to a lot of things, the leadership of our chief of police, but really a lot of work by the neighborhood divisions and neighborhoods. I do have that another highlight was that all city employees in the city of Green Bay, and we have 1,000 employees, 961, we all went through customer service training, and I think that's important that, while we provide services, we try to do it with a smile and with great customer service. So every employee in the city of Green Bay Janitors, mayors, police, fire, everybody went through customer service training. And we're pleased that when you look at the city of Green Bay, our average wages went up. And this isn't for the city hall. This is for the 102,000 people who live here. Had a salary increase of their household from about 44,000 to 46,000. So we feel good about that. Let's briefly go through what our goals are for the 2015 budget. We like the direction the city's going. We like where we're going in terms of development with neighborhoods. We think we can continue to do this and hold the line on our property taxes. That's been a goal of ours since February, to hold the line on the tax rate for both residents and commercial owners. We feel confident that we can continue the responsibility of managing the debt reduction plan that we're under. We love the employees here. We have a wage increase for the employees of 2%, which will take place next October. We need to continue the growth of our tax base. So we've set a goal of $70 million of new development for commercial and residential. This budget in our 2015 goal calls for full staffing of the Green Bay Police Department. And really, we haven't been there, even though we've seen a reduction in crime rate. To have 192 officers, sworn officers, has been challenging on a number of respects, and with retirements and a number of things, but we will have a full staff in 2015. And full implementation of our ERP program. ERP is the Enterprise Resource Program. It's something that really helps the city with efficiencies from a technology standpoint. We, of course, want the East River Trail expansion to continue, and we are now, given the recession is kind of behind us, we want to see an increase of new housing starts again in our city. So, see, these are some of the highlights that you'll be, as residents of Green Bay, as business owners or workers in Green Bay, something that we think are highlights of the budget. There's many. I just wanted to put a few of them out here. We're implementing a new engineering salary study. Engineers, while every position is important in the city of Green Bay, engineering, we've had a tough time getting talent and retaining it. The people we have now are great, but we need more. And we did a study last year, or I should say this year, that shows that we could maybe change some pay grades and levels on the engineering. So we're going to implement that salary schedule next year. We have a design for the city of Green Bay is doing quite well with a healthy employee base. Like I said, 1,000 people who work here. When you compare us to other government units, we're pretty healthy. When you compare us to the private sector, we could be a little healthier. We put in $50,000 of health incentive program. This would be a program that rewards people for working toward a better health. Along with that, we have a new design for employees' health benefit package. There is some changes with our deductibles. There's also a number of enhancements to our program when it comes to the prescription. There's some changes in the copay program, but something that puts Green Bay, the city of Green Bay, more in line with the private sector when it comes to employee involvement with their health insurance. As our downtown continues to grow as the rest of the city does, we've added a new 30-minute bus route in downtown so that people can get from point A to point B every 30 minutes. And I think that's an enhancement and something that's been called for. We have a street preventative maintenance program, and we're going to double that. What we have in here is a piece of capital equipment that I don't know if it makes asphalt or heats asphalt, but anyway, it does something with asphalt, which is going to allow us to fill more potholes and patches in 2015, almost doubling that. We're adding a new attorney to the city law staff. We've been a little understaffed in that department. There's a lot of legal issues that come in, and when you get the number of businesses we have here, the number of residents, and the need for the best decisions, we are adding another legal law staff person. As I mentioned, the East River Trail connection, the police department, and not only being full staffed and some new equipment. Part of that new equipment are segways for the police department. When you look at the 160 events we have in the downtown, segways are a nice way of interacting with the customer versus a police car, and more expeditious than patrolling on foot. Colburn Pool, which is something that's been discussed. That pool has a number of years left in it. We have budgeted to maintain that pool, and this year to do a study looking at what is the long-term best decision for capital improvement when it comes to aquatics in the greater Green Bay region. Our economic development department will be chaired by an individual. We are in search of that right now. There was some talk of combining that with another department. The city council, which I strongly supported, is to maintain a separate economic development director. We have a celebrations account here in Green Bay. I mean, the budget is about $100 million. We take $100,000, which is $1 per person, actually a little less than that, and put that towards celebrations. New this year, we're looking for kind of a musical arts festival, and we will use some seed money from that fund. And as I mentioned, we have an employee raise in there of 2%. So when you look at the city of Green Bay, people are like, oh, how does that compare? I live in Green Bay. I love living here, but how do things compare to other cities? And so we looked at some other cities in the state. This is a guide that's put out every year that we subscribe to. It's Municipal Facts for 2014. And in general administration, and that's, of course, my office, law, really the administrative side is, we're a little low on that. And I think there's some reasons for that. I think one, could argue we're a little understaffed in some departments. I also don't think we pay the most competitive wages for whatever reason for general government. And we need to have a good, strong general government here. In other areas, we're pretty much in the median side of things. If you look at our fire, ambulance per capita cost, police is very close to median, a little bit on the high side, but by and large, we compare pretty well with other communities. The street maintenance is we're in the median category, as we are in basic spending. Something else, the historical expenditures by department. So as I mentioned, we have the departments, mayor's office, admin, the courts, police, fire. This kind of just shows you the spending over time. This is online. You can look at this. But I think what's important to know is the bottom line, the general fund expenditures, which is what your tax dollars go to. The increase on that is less than 0.5%, and the reason we can maintain all our services and increase our general fund expenditures about 0.5% is because of the growth that I talked about. When you look at the overall expenditures, you'll see an extra $2 million going to debt retirement. We think this is a good time to make a principal payment on debt. Because using some of the growth dollars we have, but like I said, this expenditure that you see before you can all be done and hold the line on our taxes. One of the reasons the city is becoming more successful is because of our general levy debt. General levy debt is, again, debt paid by the residential taxpayers, and I was elected in 2003. I come from the private sector, and I think that debt, look, there's manageable debt out there, but you don't want that to continue to grow. So we continue to borrow money in the city of Green Bay, but we have a rule of thumb around here that we pay off more debt than we borrow, and you can see we have a history of that, and that will continue. Just a couple other things on some charts is the debt comparison. We also have tax increment financing debt or debt paid by other sources. And you can see that our debt paid by other sources, that debt level has gone up. Well, the reason that's gone up is we borrowed money to build a new convention center. The sources from that are the room taxes. That is what's paying that debt. So whether we built it or not would not impact the residential homeowner. What impacts the residential homeowner or the residential business in Green Bay is the general levy debt, which I showed you has gone down. Debt paid by other sources has gone up, but we have other sources, renters, if you will, or people who've committed to paying that. So we feel good about that. Here's the slide that I think, I want to go back to that. The city assessed value. So your house has an assessed value, your business does, and you can see in 2011, In 2011, we kind of had a negative growth, which I think everyone pretty much did. But then in 2012, we saw some growth. In 2013, and as I mentioned, in 2014, a $66 million growth. And that growth pays about $500,000 in city taxes, and we can take that money and obviously leverage that into reducing debt and doing some other things. So, as the assessed value, again, of the city, you live in a city that's worth just over $6 billion, right? So that's if you take everything. If you take every house, every business, every remodel job, everything, it's about $6 billion of value. Now, here's the challenge that we have. We have 33,000 pieces of property, right? So you own a home, so you have a piece of property, and a business owns a piece of property, and so on. 88% of our parcel count is residential and yields 63% of our value. On the commercial side, we have only 8% of our parcel count is commercial, and yet yields 28% of our revenue. So one of our challenges is to grow the commercial side. We're going to continue to focus on residential, make that very, very strong, but the commercial side of the city could grow and be a little bit stronger and bring in some revenues. I just have just three more slides that I want to show you. I had mentioned the workers' comp, and as you can see by the bar graph here, we feel very good about. Don't know how it looks on TV, but the lighter green, and then you compare that to the last column. You can see in 2014 our total. Workers' comp incurred is significantly less. Now, we still have 3 months to go, but we're not going to exceed what happened last year, so we feel good about that. And you can see some of the biggest drops is when it comes to the Department of Public Works. Now, when I listed earlier our goals of Green Bay, and we want to be very sensitive to the taxpayers and to the schools, but we're part of a bigger picture, and you'll see a lot of studies where they kind of break our country into 5 different subgroups, and this can range from the homeland generation, which are kids between 1 and 11 years old. But you hear a lot about millennials, which is as you can see here, the kids born between 1980 and 2004, and baby boomers. That's the most significant part of the United States population. The people in those categories that are higher income want the same things, and that's who we want living here. Our millennials, who are younger and creative, and baby boomers who are successful and maybe getting a little bit older. And I say a little bit older, I mean you can be 50 years old, 55 years old, and be a baby boomer. But both of us, I have a daughter who's 23, and I'm 5, and we want people like the trails. They like a walkable downtown. They like the arts. They like the restaurants. The suburbs are great for some people, and we're fine with that. But if we can focus on millennials and baby boomers that are a little higher income, the talent, and as I talked about, retaining talent and attracting talent to Green Bay, helps the workforce and really helps the community. So, we're cognizant of how the lines are moving and how it's working. And the other thing that the city of Green Bay, and especially, senior staff and me as mayor, we're very cognizant of education. Those communities who think, our goal is to have 100% high school graduation, that is just a given in the city of Green Bay. Our goal is to have you go on to school, either an associate degree or a bachelor's degree. And you just look at the numbers here, how that affects your income. And life isn't all about income, but I mean, it's just tough to live on $20,000 and really enjoy some of the amenities that are available to you, and having your kids in dance and sports, and those things cost money. And if you look at some college or an associate degree or a bachelor's degree, how that income level skews, and it is just where the answers need to be. So our partnership in education is going to be like the work we've done with the Da Vinci School, and partnering with West High School, and things that they're doing with their IB program. Quality after-school programs, neighborhood associations that engage the youth in our community, having people go in and explain to kids that, look, it doesn't matter where you moved from, the color of your skin, what your parents did. If you want to be a fireman, that is an awesome job in Green Bay, but you got to go past high school to do that. And we just really want to create opportunities. And to create opportunities in Green Bay, it's not building the buildings or building the roads. It's attracting talent that's going to make us successful. So the City of Green Bay, our senior staff, and our City Council, we're very engaged in a partnership with the schools in Green Bay. I think we can take some credit as a city for landing the medical college here. Even though it didn't land up in our municipality, we were very pleased and worked very hard to make sure that ended up in the greater Green Bay community. So with that, our budget summary really shows you that we can run this city. The city can work successfully with the services we have and hold the line on property taxes. We can manage our debt. We pay a very fair wage and benefit here in the city of Green Bay. We're going to continue to grow our tax base, and most importantly, we're going to continue to provide you, the taxpayers, you, the residents, and the businesses with quality services here. So that was the presentation that we made. That is why we had the open house. We do run a very transparent government here, and you can sure find the budget, the 2015 budget, online at greenbay.gov/finance/budget. That is available to you. Or you can sure call City Hall. You can call my office at 920-448-3005. We'll get you in touch with any of the department heads. So again, I want to thank you all for coming. Those of you who attended this, we love working for you, and we know you are the customer. And if there's anything that we can do going forward between now and the final approval of the budget, please contact us anytime. We're there to continue to grow a city, not only for you, but for your children and your grandchildren. So thank you for listening to this budget presentation. And again, I want to appreciate all of you for attending. All right. Okay.